The year is 1908. Picture rural Indiana. Rolling farmlands, vast and silent under a heavy sky. A place where life moved at the pace of the seasons. Where neighbors knew your name and secrets lingered like the scent of freshly turned soil. Nestled amongst these farms, one stood apart. A place whispered about, a place of unsettling tales. This was no ordinary homestead. This was the farm of Belle Gunness. The widow Gunness, they called her, a name uttered with a mix of pity and apprehension. The farmhouse itself seemed to hold its breath, its windows like vacant eyes staring out at the world. The barn, a looming silhouette against the twilight, creaked with unseen burdens. An air of melancholy hung heavy, a silent testament to the darkness that had seeped into the very soil. This is where our story unfolds, a tale woven from greed, deceit, and a chilling disregard for human life. A tale where the line between truth and rumour blurs, leaving behind a legacy as chilling as a Midwestern winter. Belle Gunness, a name that would forever be etched in the annals of American crime, synonymous with chilling ruthlessness and a cunning that belied her unassuming facade. But here, in the heartland of America, she was simply Belle, the widowed farm owner. She was a woman who, on the surface, seemed to embody the virtues of Midwestern life, hardworking, stoic, and seemingly devoted to her farm and her children. Yet, beneath this veneer of normalcy lurked something unsettling, a darkness that whispered through the cornfields. Neighbours spoke of strange comings and goings at the Gunness farm, of men arriving with hopeful eyes only to vanish without a trace. Whispers of missing suitors and unexplained fires circulated like wildfire, each tale adding to the growing unease surrounding the widow and her secluded property. Few dared to question her directly. Belle was a woman who commanded respect, her imposing physique and sharp tongue enough to silence even the most persistent gossip. But in hushed tones behind closed doors, the questions lingered. What secrets did Belle Gunness guard within the walls of her farmhouse? Belle Gunness had travelled a long road to reach the heartland of America. Born Brynhild Polsdatter Storset in Norway, she had left her homeland seeking a new life, a chance to escape the poverty and limitations of her past. She arrived in America, a land of opportunity, and quickly learned to navigate her new surroundings. Marriage to a fellow Norwegian immigrant brought her to Indiana, where she settled into the life of a farmer's wife. But fate, it seemed, had other plans for Belle Gunness.
Tragedy struck not once but twice, when both her first husband and a child died under mysterious circumstances. Insurance payouts, whispers suggested, provided a convenient cushion for the grieving widow. Was this the first taste of the darkness that would consume her?
She remarried, this time to a widower with children of his own, only to suffer another devastating loss when her second husband died within a year. Each tragedy seemed to deepen the shadows surrounding Belle, her once warm eyes hardening with each misfortune. As the bodies piled up, so too did the insurance payouts. It was a pattern that couldn't be ignored. Was Belle Gunness simply a victim of circumstance, a woman cursed by fate? Or was there something more sinister at play, a darkness blooming beneath the surface of her grief? The Atlantic Ocean was a churning, unforgiving expanse in the late 19th century. For many immigrants, it represented a perilous journey into the unknown, a leap of faith towards a brighter future. Brynhild Polsdatter Storset, a young woman hardened by the harsh realities of life in rural Norway, embarked on this journey with a mix of trepidation and steely determination.
America, the land of opportunity, beckoned with the promise of a fresh start. Shedding her old identity like a skin too tight, Brynhild became Belle upon reaching American shores. It was a name that rolled off the tongue with newfound confidence, a symbol of the transformation she sought.
Life in America, however, was not the fairy tale promised in hushed tones back in Norway. Work was hard, the language a barrier, and the bustling cities a far cry from the rolling hills of her homeland. But Belle was resilient, her spirit forged in the fires of hardship. She toiled tirelessly, her hands calloused, but her resolve unbroken. She found solace in the company of fellow Norwegian immigrants, their shared language and experiences a lifeline in a foreign land. It was within this community that Belle met Mads Sorensen, a man who, like her, sought to build a life anew in the heartland of America.
Belle and Mads married in 1881, their union a testament to the enduring bonds forged in the crucible of immigration. They settled in LaPorte, Indiana, a town on the cusp of change, where the rhythms of rural life were slowly giving way to the hum of industry.
The Sorensen household, however, was plagued by misfortune. 2 of their children died in infancy, their tiny lives extinguished as quickly as they had begun. Whispers of strange illnesses and accidents followed Belle, casting a pall over the young family.
Tragedy struck again in 1900 when Mads himself died unexpectedly. The official cause of death was heart failure, but rumors persisted that Belle had a hand in her husband's demise. A fire, conveniently erupting on the very same day, consumed the Sorensen home, destroying any evidence that might have shed light on the truth.
Insurance money, a lifeline in the face of such devastation, allowed Belle to rebuild her life. She purchased a farm on the outskirts of LaPorte, a sprawling property with a farmhouse that seemed to swallow the sunlight. It was here, amidst the rolling fields and whispering cornstalks, that Belle Gunness would cement her place in the annals of true crime. One of Peter's daughters died shortly after, succumbing to a mysterious illness. Belle, now a widow once more, adopted her remaining stepdaughter. She also gave birth to a son, Philip, the only child born during her tumultuous marriages who would survive to adulthood. She married again in 1902, this time to Peter Gunness, a widower with 2 young daughters of his own. Tragedy, it seemed, was a constant companion. Within a year, Peter Gunness was dead, crushed beneath a meat grinder in a freak accident, or so the story went. Belle, now a widow with 2 surviving children, projected an image of stoic resilience. Neighbours, accustomed to the hardships of farm life, offered condolences and support, but beneath the veneer of normalcy, a darkness was taking root.
Loneliness, they say, can drive a person to desperate measures. For Belle Gunness, it became a tool, a weapon wielded with chilling precision. She sought solace and financial security in the arms of men, but her motives, it would seem, were far from pure.
The early 1900s witnessed the rise of personal ads in newspapers, a way for lonely hearts to connect across miles and social divides. Belle, recognizing an opportunity, began placing ads in Norwegian-language newspapers, seeking the companionship of wealthy suitors.
Men, blinded by loneliness and the allure of a prosperous life on a Midwestern farm, flocked to Belle's doorstep. They carried with them their life savings, eager to win the hand of the seemingly charming widow. But their dreams of love and companionship would be cut tragically short.
One by one, these suitors vanished without a trace. Their disappearances, initially dismissed as the whims of restless souls seeking new adventures, would soon become a chilling testament to Belle Gunness's ruthlessness and her insatiable thirst for wealth and control. Imagine a man, weary from the road, stepping off a train in LaPorte. He clutches a worn suitcase, his heart pounding with hope and apprehension. This is no ordinary journey. This is a pilgrimage to love. He carries his life savings, ready to offer it all.
Welcome to LaPorte. I'm Mrs. Gunness. It's so nice to finally meet you.
He is met by Mrs. Gunness, her demeanor warm. Her handshake is firm, her eyes sad. She speaks of loneliness and the hardships of farm life.
The farm can be quite a challenge to manage by myself. I've been longing for someone to share the load.
The ride to the farm is a blur of Midwestern charm. Belle points out landmarks, sharing anecdotes of local life. As the farmhouse comes into view, he feels a surge of optimism. This is it, he thinks, a fresh start. He is oblivious to the darkness beneath the manicured lawn. He sees only the promise of companionship. He does not know he has stepped into a trap. Life on the Gunness farm was deceptively tranquil. Belle, a master manipulator, played the role of the doting housewife to perfection. She cooked hearty meals, her suitors marveling at her culinary skills, unaware that the ingredients were often purchased with their own money. Belle wasted no time in securing her financial future. She persuaded her suitors to sign over their deeds and transfer their savings, and then, just as quickly as they had arrived, they vanished. Belle offered plausible explanations for their sudden departures. Few dared to question her. Whispers surrounding the Gunness farm grew louder. Neighbours couldn't shake the feeling that something was amiss. Men arrived with hope, only to vanish without a trace. The disappearances followed a chillingly familiar pattern. A new suitor would arrive, smitten by Belle's charms. There would be a brief courtship, followed by silence. Belle claimed they moved on or met with accidents. Whispers of foul play began to circulate. Children claimed to hear strange noises at night. Dogs barked incessantly, mirroring the community's suspicion. Fear kept most people silent. Belle Gunness was not a woman to be trifled with. She silenced dissent and turned suspicion back on itself. The disappearances continued, darkening her sinister reputation. Ray Lamphere, a farmhand, was drawn into Belle Gunness's web of deception.
I was captivated by her strength and allure. She confided in me, painting herself as a victim.
Belle encouraged Ray's affections to solidify her control. Her paranoia grew, and she turned on him. In desperation, Ray set fire to the farmhouse. The fire revealed a horrifying secret, cementing Belle's place in true crime history. The fire raged through the Gunness farmhouse, consuming everything in its path. Flames danced across the wooden structure, licking at the night sky. Neighbours watched in horror, their faces illuminated by the inferno. Was this the tragic end of Belle Gunness? Or was it a reckoning for a life steeped in darkness? As dawn broke, a chilling truth emerged from the ashes. The fire unearthed a macabre secret. Scattered amongst the debris, investigators discovered human remains. Bones, charred and fragmented, whispered tales of unspeakable violence. The smell of death hung thick in the air. The discovery sent shockwaves through Laporte and beyond. Whispers solidified into a horrifying reality. Belle Gunness was unmasked as something far more sinister. She was a predator, a black widow who had lured countless men to their deaths. The investigation quickly gained momentum as more evidence came to light. The sheer scale of the crime shocked even seasoned investigators. The Gunness farm was transformed into a gruesome excavation site. The task facing investigators was daunting. The fire had consumed much of the evidence, leaving behind a chaotic landscape of charred wood, twisted metal and fragmented bone. But amidst the destruction, a grim picture began to emerge, each unearthed artifact adding a chilling detail to the portrait of Belle Gunness and her reign of terror. The search for bodies extended beyond the confines of the farmhouse. The property, once a place of idyllic beauty, became a sprawling crime scene. The hog pen, the well, even the flower beds Belle had tended with such care, yielded their gruesome secrets. Bodies, some dismembered, others wrapped in burlap sacks, emerged from the earth like ghastly crops sown from a nightmare. Forensic science, still in its infancy at the time, played a crucial role in identifying the victims. Skulls, carefully reconstructed from fragments, stared out at the investigators. Their empty sockets a haunting reminder of the lives cut short. Dental records, painstakingly compared, revealed the identities of men who had travelled from far and wide, their dreams ending in the killing fields of Laporte. As the body count climbed, so too did the questions. How had Belle Gunness, a seemingly ordinary woman, managed to carry out such horrific acts for so long? How had she silenced her victims, disposed of their bodies, and maintained a facade of normalcy while terrorizing an entire community? The answers, it seemed, lay buried deep within the psyche of a killer, a darkness that defied easy explanation. Section 3. The search for Belle, dead or alive. With the discovery of the bodies and the mounting evidence against her, the hunt for Belle Gunness intensified. Newspapers across the country splashed her face across their front pages, dubbing her Lady Bluebeard and the Mistress of Murder. Rewards were offered, leads were followed, but Belle Gunness, it seemed, had vanished without a trace. The fire, initially believed to be her final act of desperation, now presented a tantalizing possibility. Had Belle Gunness, a master manipulator, used the chaos to fake her own death? Had she escaped into the night, leaving behind a trail of destruction and despair, her true identity consumed by the flames? Theories abounded. Some believed she had perished in the fire, her body burned beyond recognition. Others, clinging to the belief that a woman capable of such cunning could not have met such an ordinary end, speculated that she had assumed a new identity, disappearing into the anonymity of a nation on the move. Sightings were reported from across the country, each one offering a glimmer of hope, a chance to bring the elusive killer to justice. But Belle Gunness, if she was indeed alive, had mastered the art of disappearing. She had become a phantom, a figment of a town's collective nightmare. The search for Belle Gunness, like the mystery surrounding her crimes, threatened to become a cold case, leaving behind a legacy of unanswered questions and enduring fascination. Section 4. The Trial of Ray Lamphere. Justice, rumours and unanswered questions. While the hunt for Belle Gunness captivated the nation, another drama was unfolding in a La Porte courtroom. Ray Lamphere stood accused of murder and arson. The prosecution painted Lamphere as a spurned lover, driven to violence.
I didn't kill anyone. I only set fire to the house at Belle's behest. She threatened to frame me for her crimes.
But his protestations fell on deaf ears. The trial, a media sensation, gripped the nation. Witnesses offered conflicting accounts of Belle's behaviour. Rumours circulated, fueled by speculation. Had Belle Gunness hypnotised Lamphere? Had she threatened his life? The jury found Ray Lamphere guilty of arson, but acquitted him of murder. He was sentenced to 20 years in prison. The verdict did little to answer lingering questions. The true extent of Belle Gunness's crimes remained shrouded in speculation. La Porte's enduring mystery. The Gunness farm, once a place of life and death, was eventually razed to the ground. The land, soaked in blood, was deemed cursed by some. But the story of Belle Gunness, the Black Widow of La Porte, refused to be buried. It lived on in hushed whispers, in local legends, in true crime. Each attempt to unravel the enigma of a woman who defied categorization, a woman who challenged the notion of what a killer could look like. The case of Belle Gunness remained unsolved. The mystery of her ultimate fate, whether she perished in the fire or escaped, fascinated and frustrated. Belle Gunness became a cautionary tale, a reminder that evil can lurk beneath unassuming exteriors. She symbolized the vulnerability of loneliness, the dangers of blind trust, and the enduring power of greed and ambition. In La Porte, Indiana, her legacy lived on, a haunting reminder of the darkness beneath idyllic communities. The fire that consumed the Gunness farmhouse ignited a firestorm of speculation and dread in La Porte. The idyllic image of their rural community was shattered. A chilling reflection revealed a darkness that had festered beneath the surface for years. The townsfolk, once dismissive of rumours, were now forced to confront the horrifying truth. The men who had vanished were now confirmed victims. Conversations spoke of collective guilt and a shared sense of betrayal. How could they have allowed such evil to flourish in their midst? Had they become complicit in her crimes? The investigation brought an unwelcome spotlight. Reporters descended upon La Porte, capturing every gruesome detail. The town, once tranquil, was thrust onto the national stage, its name forever linked to the chilling tale of Belle Gunness and her house of horrors. As the initial shock subsided, the grim task of excavating the Gunness farm began in earnest. The once fertile fields, where Belle had cultivated her image as a hard-working farmer, now yielded a harvest of death. Each shovelful of earth, each stone overturned, revealed another piece of the macabre puzzle, adding to the growing horror and disbelief. The hog pen, its stench unbearable in the summer heat, became a focal point of the investigation. Here, amidst the churned earth and the remnants of animal feed, investigators unearthed a gruesome collection of human remains. Bones, some bearing the marks of a saw, others showing signs of blunt force trauma, painted a chilling picture of the violence that had been visited upon Belle Gunness's victims. The well, its depths once a source of life-giving water, offered up its own macabre secrets. Bodies wrapped in burlap sacks and weighted down with stones were pulled from the murky depths, their decomposing forms a testament to the cold-blooded efficiency with which Belle Gunness had disposed of those who stood in her way. As the body count climbed, the enormity of Belle Gunness's crimes began to take shape. The sheer number of victims, the calculated brutality of their murders, and the meticulous manner in which their remains had been concealed pointed to a mind as cunning as it was depraved. The Gunness farm, once a symbol of rural tranquility, was transformed into a chilling testament to the capacity for human evil. Section 3. The Widow's Accomplice. Whispers of a conspiracy. Could Belle Gunness have acted alone? The physicality of her crime suggested an accomplice. Suspicion fell upon Ray Lamphere, the farmhand infatuated with Belle. Was he a willing accomplice or a manipulated pawn?
They say I helped her, but I was just a pawn.
The truth remained elusive, lost to history and shrouded in speculation. Section 4. The mystery endures. Belle Gunness, lost to history. The legend of Belle Gunness, the Black Widow of Laporte, continues to captivate and horrify more than a century after her reign of terror came to an end. The sheer brutality of her crimes, the mystery surrounding her ultimate fate, and the enduring question of how a seemingly ordinary woman could commit such unspeakable acts continue to fascinate and repel in equal measure. The Gunness farm, its soil consecrated by the blood of innocents, was eventually razed to the ground. The land, once a place of promise and betrayal of life and death, was left to return to nature, a silent testament to the darkness that had once flourished there. But the story of Belle Gunness refused to be silenced. It lived on in whispered legends, in true crime books and documentaries, in the imaginations of those who dared to peer into the abyss of human depravity. The search for answers, for a definitive explanation for her crimes and a resolution to the mystery of her disappearance, continued to fuel speculation and debate. Belle Gunness, the woman who had arrived in America seeking a new life, had become a cautionary tale, a reminder that evil can lurk beneath the most unassuming exteriors. She was a phantom, a spectre haunting the American consciousness, her story a chilling testament to the enduring power of mystery and the dark side of the American dream. Section 1. The enduring allure of a true crime enigma. The saga of Belle Gunness, spun from greed and murder, grips the imagination over a century later. Like moths to a flame, we are mesmerized by her darkness and the mysteries of her life. How could an ordinary woman orchestrate such chilling schemes? What drove her from hopeful immigrant to ruthless predator? Her unassuming facade makes her crimes more terrifying. Belle Gunness shattered the stereotype of the monstrous killer. Or perhaps it is the enduring mystery of her ultimate fate. Did she perish in the flames or escape into anonymity? The lack of a definitive answer adds to her story's allure. The legend of Belle Gunness will continue to be told for generations. Section 2. Echoes of Belle Gunness. Lessons from the widow's web. Belle Gunness preyed on universal desires, love, companionship, and financial security. Her victims, blinded by loneliness, failed to see the warning signs. Her story is a cautionary tale, reminding us that trust must be earned and appearances can be deceiving. Even today, her crimes remind us to be vigilant and trust our instincts. The legacy of Belle Gunness serves as a chilling warning from beyond the grave.